Right now, buried beneath a city of 20 million people, there is a structure that should not exist. It is older than the pyramids, older than writing, older than anything historians told you was possible, and it completely destroys the timeline of human civilization. These are the 15 most shocking facts about ancient civilizations and lost history that academics have quietly argued about for decades. By the time we reach number 1, everything you were taught in school will feel like a lie.
Fact number 15. Ancient humans were building massive structures 10,000 years before the pyramids. Right now, buried beneath a city of 20 million people, there is a structure that should not exist. It is older than the pyramids, older than writing, older than anything historians told you was possible, and it completely destroys the timeline of human civilization. These are the 15 most shocking facts about ancient civilizations and lost history that academics have quietly argued about for decades. By the time we reach number 1, everything you were taught in school will feel like a lie. Fact number 14. The Great Pyramid's construction is still mathematically unexplained. The Great Pyramid of Giza contains 2.3 million stone blocks. Each block weighs between 2.5 and 80 tons. The entire structure is aligned to true north with a margin of error of 0.05 degrees, more precise than the Greenwich Observatory built 4,000 years later. Engineers today, with cranes, GPS, and laser levels, cannot explain how it was built within the 20-year reign of Pharaoh Khufu. That's one block placed every 5 minutes, day and night, for 2 decades, with copper tools. Something doesn't add up. Fact number 13. Ancient Greeks had a functioning analog computer 2,000 years before anyone thought possible. In 1901, divers recovered a corroded bronze lump from a Roman shipwreck off the island of Antikythera. For decades, no one knew what it was. Then scientists X-rayed it. Inside, 37 precision bronze gears, calendars, astronomical predictions, eclipse cycles, a hand-cranked mechanical computer. It predicted the positions of the sun and moon. It calculated the Olympic Games schedule. It was built around 100 BC. The next device of comparable mechanical complexity wouldn't appear for 1,500 years. It was not supposed to exist. Fact number 12. The Indus Valley civilization had indoor plumbing and urban planning before Rome was even a village. Around 2600 BC, the Indus Valley civilization built cities of 40,000 people with grid-patterned streets, standardized brick sizes, public baths, and, most shockingly, a citywide sewage system with indoor plumbing connected to every home. Rome's famous aqueducts wouldn't arrive for another 2,000 years. We still cannot fully read their writing. We don't know their language. We don't know what they called themselves. And in 1900 BC, at the absolute peak of their civilization, they simply vanished. No conquest, no plague evidence, no explanation. Gone. Fact number 11. The Nazca lines can only be fully seen from the air, and they were made by people who couldn't fly. In the Peruvian desert, carved into the earth, are hundreds of massive geoglyphs, spiders, hummingbirds, monkeys, geometric spirals, some stretching over 1,200 feet in length. They are so large they are only visible from aircraft. They were made between 500 BC and 500 AD by the Nazca people, who had no aircraft, no balloons, no elevated structures capable of seeing their own work. They spent generations carving images they would never see in full. We don't know why. We don't know who the audience was supposed to be. We only know they never stopped. Fact number 10. A 16th century map shows Antarctica without ice. 500 years before it was officially discovered. In 1513, Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis compiled a map of the world using, as he recorded, ancient source maps he had collected. The Piri Reis map shows the coastline of South America, Africa, and, impossibly, Antarctica. Not only did it show Antarctica 300 years before its official discovery in 1820, it showed the continent's coastline beneath the ice, a detail we only confirmed with seismic surveys in the 20th century. Either Piri Reis's ancient sources had technology we don't understand, or someone mapped the Earth before the ice arrived. Neither answer is comfortable. Fact number 9. The Dogon tribe of Mali described the Sirius star system in detail, 300 years before telescopes could confirm it. The Dogon people of West Africa have an oral astronomical tradition stretching back centuries. In it, they describe Sirius, the brightest star visible from Earth, as a binary system orbited by a small, incredibly dense white dwarf star invisible to the naked eye. They called it the Heavy Star. They described its 50-year orbital period around Sirius. They were correct. Sirius B was only confirmed by telescope in 1862. Its density and orbital period were only calculated in the 20th century. The Dogon have worshipped these precise facts for generations. No one has ever explained how.
Fact number 8. The Library of Alexandria's destruction may have delayed human civilization by 1,000 years. The Library of Alexandria, at its peak, held an estimated 400,000 to 700,000 scrolls, the collected knowledge of the ancient world, mathematics, medicine, astronomy, philosophy, history, engineering. It was burned, not once, but multiple times by multiple conquerors. The final destruction came in 391 AD. Scholars who had access to it described treatises on machines, surgical techniques, and astronomical models that weren't independently rediscovered until the Renaissance. 1,000 years later, we don't know what we lost. That's the most terrifying part. We don't even know what we're missing. Fact number 7. Sacsayhuaman stones fit so perfectly together that no mortar was needed, and no one knows how high in the Andes above Cusco, Peru, the Inca fortress of Sacsayhuaman is built from stones weighing up to 200 tons, each one cut so precisely that a piece of paper cannot be inserted between them. No mortar, no cement, no binding agent. The stones fit together like an impossible three-dimensional puzzle, interlocking at complex angles that would resist earthquakes. Modern engineers with diamond-tipped cutting equipment have tried to replicate this precision. They have failed. The Inca had no iron tools, no wheels, no draft animals strong enough for the weight. The stones came from quarries 22 miles away. It should be physically impossible. It's there. Fact number 6. A sunken city off the coast of Japan predates any known civilization and may be entirely man-made. In 1986, divers off the coast of Yonaguni Island, Japan, discovered a massive underwater structure, terraced platforms, right angles, steps, and what appears to be a road at a depth of 25 meters. Geologists estimated the structure was last above water at least 10,000 years ago. During the last ice age, if it is man-made, it is the oldest known architectural structure on Earth, built by a civilization that vanished before the invention of writing, before Göbekli Tepe, before everything. Scientists are still arguing whether it is natural formation or architecture. The right angles are very hard to explain. Fact number 5. New evidence suggests Plato's Atlantis may be based on a real catastrophic event. In 1600 BC, the volcanic island of Thera, modern Santorini, erupted in one of the largest volcanic explosions in human history. The blast was 4 times more powerful than Krakatoa. It sent a tsunami across the Mediterranean. It may have contributed to the collapse of the Minoan civilization, the most advanced maritime empire of its time, almost overnight. Plato wrote about Atlantis 1,200 years later, describing an advanced island civilization destroyed in a single day and night by the sea. The timing, the geography, the sudden collapse. Archaeologists are no longer calling it impossible. Fact number 4, Damascus steel, the greatest metal alloy in history, was lost, and we still cannot fully recreate it. For centuries, Damascus steel was the most feared weapon material in the world. Forged in the Middle East between 300 and 1750 AD, Damascus blades were legendary, hard enough to cleave stone, flexible enough not to shatter, and sharp enough to split a hair falling through the air. In 1750, the last swordsmiths who knew the formula died. The secret vanished. Modern metallurgists, using electron microscopes and spectrometers, have analyzed authentic blades and discovered carbon nanotubes, structures we thought we invented in the 20th century, woven throughout the steel. Ancient blacksmiths were engineering at the nanoscale, and we don't know how. Fact number 3, the Voynich manuscript, a 600-year-old illustrated book, has never been deciphered by anyone. The Voynich manuscript is a 240-page illustrated book written in an unknown script that has defeated every cryptographer, linguist, and AI system ever applied to it. Carbon dating places it at 1404 to 1438 AD. It contains detailed illustrations of plants that don't exist, astronomical diagrams of unknown systems, and what appear to be bathing rituals with unidentified human figures. Its language shows statistical patterns consistent with a real natural language, not a hoax. It is organized into sections with apparent internal logic. Hundreds of the world's greatest code breakers have spent decades on it. The NSA attempted to crack it during the Cold War. No one has translated a single confirmed word. Fact number 2. Stone tools found in North America predate the accepted arrival of humans by 130,000 years. The accepted theory held that humans first arrived in the Americas roughly 15,000 years ago, crossing the Bering Land Bridge from Asia. Then in 2017, the Cerruti Mastodon site in California published its findings. The bones of a mastodon broken in a very specific pattern consistent with human butchering, surrounded by large stones showing signs of use as hammers and anvils, dated to 130,000 years ago. That is over 100,000 years before Homo sapiens were supposed to exist anywhere near North America. Either the dating is wrong, the butchering interpretation is wrong, or everything we know about human migration is wrong. None of those options are comfortable. Fact number 1, the most shocking fact. A 12,000-year-old map of the stars, carved in stone, proves an ancient civilization understood precession of the equinoxes. A calculation so complex we thought we invented it in 127 BC. At Göbekli Tepe, the 11,600-year-old temple that broke history in Fact 15, archaeologists recently identified something even older beneath it. Carved into the stone pillars are vultures, scorpions, and a headless man. Researcher Graham Hancock and astrophysicist Martin Sweatman decoded the imagery as a precise star map, recording the date of a catastrophic comet impact, 10,950 BC, the same period associated with the Younger Dryas, a sudden global cooling event that nearly exterminated humanity. The carving is a memorial, a warning, encoded in stone by survivors of a global catastrophe in a symbolic language precise enough to be decoded 13,000 years later. They knew about precession of the equinoxes, a 26,000-year cycle of the Earth's wobble. Hipparchus of Nicaea is credited with its discovery in 127 BC. These carvings predate him by over 10,000 years. Someone survived something that almost ended us. They built the oldest temple on Earth. They carved the date of the disaster in stone. They encoded it so well that the message survived the collapse of every civilization that came after them. We are not the first advanced civilization on this planet. We are just the first one that learned to write it down before the next disaster came. 15 facts. 15 reasons to question everything, from a temple older than farming to a map carved in stone before civilization was supposed to exist. The ancient world was not a collection of primitive tribes stumbling toward progress. It was something else, something sophisticated, something interrupted. We are not the peak of human achievement. We may not even be the first attempt. If this video cracked something open in your mind tonight, or just kept you from sleeping, smash that like button so more people question what they were taught. Subscribe so you don't miss our next descent into the history they didn't put in your textbooks. And drop a comment below. Which fact destroyed your understanding of history the most? And what do you think really happened to these lost civilizations? Tell us. The truth might be in the comments.